Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is round 3 of the Memorial Disc Golf Championships presented by Discraft. Thank you to Discraft and GK Pro for doing this awesome FPO coverage. My name's Madison Walker.
And I'm Missy Gannon.
We are having our first round here at Vista del Camino Park. We played the last 2 days at Fountain Hill. Moving over, you'd think it would be less water, but there's still water out there. We're in the middle of Arizona, but we're still finding that H2O over everywhere we go. Paige Pierce is in the lead by 3 strokes right now over Jennifer Allen. Henna right on her coattails, and Rebecca screaming up the leaderboard yesterday with sitting at 7 down overall for the event. Thanks to the Pro Tour for featuring the ladies in the afternoon tee times now. We're happy to see much larger galleries in person, and we're hoping you guys are enjoying the coverage as well.
Hole 1 is a par 3, 285 feet. There is a triple mando just off the tee. You just have to make it through that triple mando. Hopefully keep something straighter, because if you end up hyzering out a little bit, you might have to contend with that tree on the left right next to the basket for your putt, and that can certainly get in the way. So you just want to throw something like a mid-range or a straight fairway driver, maybe even a putter for some people, and just have it slide right up to the basket.
Paige Pierce first up on the tee pad. This hole is an older hole. We did not play it last year, but we have played it in all the years prior to that. They took out hole 17 last year that ran alongside the water and was a little bit of a narrow path with a lot of pedestrians in the way, so they decided to bring this hole back, take that hole out. I think the change is awesome.
Yeah, I was eager to play this hole because my first Memorial was last year and they didn't have this hole, so
kind of a signature one.
Yeah, I would say so.
Fun little starting hole. Jen puts it a little too low, a little too nose down, slides up, but she will not have a look at a putt quite yet.
I feel like it's easy to do. For some reason, this tee pad feels almost a little elevated, and then with that triple mando, you're like trying to keep the height your first priority, and I feel like I saw a lot of women doing that.
Yeah, and everyone's nervous.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people behind the tee pad. The Festival of the Flying Disc was raging. So many people hanging out. And then Henna parks it.
That was great. Yeah, that was a Star Rock 3, or a Champion Rock 3.
Awesome to see Rebecca Cox back on a lead card. She had a strong finish at the end of last year, doing really well at the Pro Tour Championship, even with an injury on her leg while she was crazily mountain biking during the Hall of Fame event.
Crazy. Crazy. Yeah, Rebecca went with a fairway driver there. Almost going to have to contend with that tree. Like I said, if you hyzer out a little bit, she might be far enough. We'll have to take a look at her angle. Jen just pitched us up.
This is one of the easier holes on the courses. No surprise here. Averaged just under par. These lead card ladies are really wanting to birdie this hole. Definitely feeling a little bummed if they did not get a look at it. Surprising to see 3 out of the 4. Whoa! With long putts, but Paige capitalizes.
Yeah, it looks like she was just short from that tree, so she actually had a bit of an open look there. Great birdie to capitalize on.
Nice GK slow. Henna with a super short putt for birdie on this weirdly elevated basket.
Yeah.
I like the extra piece of really tall pole at the top. Hole 2 is a par 3. It's 369 feet, very flat. No elevation change at all. There's an out-of-bounds sidewalk way on the left, but it really doesn't come into play. Not a lot of trouble you can get into here, but there are trees surrounding the basket, so they will affect your putt if you're hanging out in there.
Yeah, I think a lot of the big arms are going to try to go sort of on the hyzer route and have it hit that hill and slide down to the basket. That's sort of the ideal play. A lot of us are going to have to really flex one out there to get close inside the circle. It's right at that, edge of the range for a lot of us. So yeah, you see Paige hanging out a hyzer with a Zeus.
We're flexing. She's hyzering.
Yep.
Circle's edge.
Yeah. Henna's going Destroyer. I imagine she's going to follow a similar line.
Working that left skip. The grass out here is generally pretty skippy, but that one did not catch an edge, I guess.
Yeah, it was a little flatter, it looked like. Jen also going Destroyer. Looks like she put a little turn on it. I'm sure she's able to get a good hyzer out there as well. Just comes up a little short.
There was a little bit of wind. This is the first day we felt wind besides when the actual fountain was going. Wow, what a mash from Rebecca.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was a
Dead straight.
Yeah, that was a ballista. She'll find herself just outside the circle in between circle 1 and circle 2.
So the way that Vista is set up is basically the first 9 holes you're heading out, and then the back 9 you're heading back, and it's pretty true in line the whole way. So we will kind of be facing a head or crosswind all the way out to hole 9, and then a tailwind all the way back. Kind of expected a couple more birdies out here on the lead card on this hole. I feel like 370 is well in their distance range. Paige capitalizing on another long putt for 2 birdies to start the round. Couple of par tap-ins for the rest of the ladies on the card. Sometimes at Vista, it does feel like we're just getting a lot of pars.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
But
Thanks again to Discraft for sponsoring the memorial and for also hiring GK Pro for some awesome ladies coverage. Hole 3 is 360 feet. It's about 10 feet shorter than hole 2, but I feel like it's so much longer. I feel like it plays so much longer. There's a tree in the way that doesn't let you throw that pure hyzer unless you've got a really big arm. It's elevated. You'll see most ladies flexing a disc and hopefully no one dancing on the green.
Paige trying to pump a hyzer. I imagine she's trying to go to the right of that tree. Looks like she just sawed it off a little bit. So she'll find herself outside the circle.
This basket is so weird. It's elevated, but it doesn't have one of the Pro Tour lighthouses on it. So it's almost looks so like stark.
Yeah.
It's like looks higher than any of the other elevated baskets. Henna gets it down to circle 1, but takes a big skip and will be finding herself almost out to the edge of circle 2.
Again, Jen going Destroyer. That's more of the line that I was thinking that these big arms are going to throw. Get it to hit that hill, get a nice little skip right towards the basket.
Yeah, she goes around the culvert. That's very impressive and very far.
Here's the other route that Rebecca's taking, trying to go up the middle and, bite off as much distance as she can. Doesn't look like she got the turn on it that she wanted, but she'll have a outside the circle 2 putt or approach.
Jen going first. What a huge birdie.
Great birdie.
That's amazing. Maybe we missed some of the approaches from the ladies. Looks like everyone else is going to be tapping in for their pars. We get to start off with the awesome birdie.
Nice.
The ladies averaged at about a quarter of a stroke above par on this hole. Oh.
Yeah, these elevated baskets can get you like that. She looked like she hit pretty dead center, but maybe just not hard enough and spit it right out.
Yeah, this is a big basket change from yesterday. We were putting on mock X's at Fountain Hills, and these are the Discraft. Oh, I'm not up to date on my basket.
I believe it's like Chainstar Pro.
Yeah, Chainstar Pros. So, and they're very different. Chainstar Pros are a little bit smaller. lighter chains. So it's almost like you have to change your putting style a little bit. Only 2 birdies on the day on this hole. We got to watch one of them with Jennifer Allen. Also, congrats to Katrina.
Hole 4 is a par 3, 381 feet. There is maybe a straighter gap where you can try and hit the gap and stay as straight as you can. There is OB on the left side to protect the next tee pad. There's that big pine tree on the right. You'll see a lot of the big arms trying to just throw a huge hyzer all the way around that big pine tree on the right. You also might see, a hyzer that might cut in front of that tree just to get you a nice clear approach to the basket.
Yeah, this is going to be the longest of the 3 holes that we've played, just the kind of tweener par 3s. I would be very surprised to see someone getting up and down on the pure hyzer line. That's so far. I think I would say it plays almost more like 400.
Yeah, I agree.
It's dead flat, no help from elevation here. All about the flight of the disc. Doesn't look like they were feeling the wind as much as when my card came through hours earlier. Paige, wow.
Yeah.
Does exactly what I said no one can do. Parks it. What a great shot. What disc was that?
It says her buzz, but I don't think that's true.
What is she, a hero?
I would say it was probably a Zeus.
A buzz. Henna throws her P2. Just kidding. Why that joke never gets old to me. I'm so sorry.
It was a destroyer.
Rebecca looking to go outside the tree as well. I think it's a safer play for people that can't throw as far, because if you wind up underneath that tree, you almost have no choice but to like throw a little forehand or something because the branches are so low. Jen is poking through though effectively.
Yeah, just trying to make it work.
This hole averaged at even par, no surprise. Pretty straightforward par 3 for most of the FPO field. And once we get these first 3 long par 3s out of the way, I think the course gets a little more interesting. One thing about Vista, though, is it's just a lot of wide open, grassy, park-style golf. So it can be a little bit not very stimulating, but still challenging as we move through the course.
Hole 5 is a par 3, 340 feet. It's dead straight. There is OB cart path on the left, and then also a mando tree on the right that you have to go left of. We're about to fly past it. And then it's also an elevated basket. And those trees actually do come into play right into the basket. If you end up puring one and going a little long or hyzering out a little bit, you're definitely going to have to navigate those trees on your putt.
That mando tree really does come into play here, too, because in reality, you want to kind of throw a hyzer here. It just feels right to throw a hyzer, and there's a perfect gap to the right of the tree. But it forces you to throw that straight shot, which is scary with that tight OB line on the left-hand side.
I'm imagining the disc just got swapped in my list. So this is Paige's Tour Series buzz. She's hoping to flip it up a little bit more and have it ride straighter.
Yeah, you want to throw something softly so it doesn't get that big skip at the end. It makes it really hard to flip something up unless you have a really flippy disc in your bag. Jen with the safe play, and she'll be over to the left-hand side of the green.
Henna going rock 3. It seems, with that mando tree on the right, it is easy to try to hyzer flip something, but not quite commit fully. It just looks like that's what happened there.
Rebecca gets all of the flight, though. It looks really awesome. It's a bit of a skip at the end. And she'll be right around where everyone else is sitting. These are all kind of scary putts on this elevated basket. I'm guessing Henna just lays up here. Oh, wrong.
Maybe a half go.
That was a half go, which you can't really do on elevated baskets. You kind of either have to full send or no send.
Right.
Paige full sends. Aims a little high of the basket, catches some branches, trickles down. That'll make for an easier comeback putt. Oh. Kind of a good play if you know there's a backboard up there.
Yeah,
just throw it up in the tree.
Come on.
Jen runs at it. Only one birdie on the day for the FPO field. Congrats to Evelina. Nice. Another hole I'm surprised not to see any of the women on the lead card get a 2 on. But it seems like they're just warming up.
Yep. Rebecca just slapping it in there.
Yeah, there's been lots of buzz on, everyone's opinions on teeing off earlier versus teeing off later. Some ladies love it. Some ladies don't love it. It's been interesting. You kind of have to figure out a whole new routine. Hole 6 is the first par 4 of the day. It's 783 feet. The play is to hyzer right around these two. You can also flex between those two big trees on the left-hand side. There's an out-of-bounds line that starts over here by this little sticky tree. It's a white flagged line. You can see one of those flags flapping in the breeze. There's also out of bounds all the way down the left-hand side, guarding another fairway. And eventually you make it down here to this elevated basket. There's out of bounds that wraps around the backside as well, I think, if you go deep. And as you go, it all pinches in towards the basket. Somehow the trees on this hole are perfectly positioned where you really have to super think about every single tee shot because you can very easily hit any one of the trees. It's not a tight wooded fairway, but it almost feels like one.
Yeah.
Because you have to find those gaps.
Right. And you have to just commit to the gap that you want to throw.
This actually played as the most difficult hole on the course. So we will see what happens. Jen really pumping a hyzer down there. She'll be out in the open. Henna does the same, gets a big skip. She'll be way out in the middle of the fairway and have a wide open second shot. Basically, this is 4 holes in a row, actually 5 holes in a row where ladies are throwing distance drivers off the tee. So it's a great place to work on getting the accuracy and the touch with your distance driver that you're looking for. You really had to dial that in. Anyone that played Vegas last week, I'm sure, had a lot of work as well with it.
Paige is definitely trying to get all the way to the green. She threw a distance driver and then another distance driver right there. Comes up a little bit short. She'll have a very, very long.
Do you think she'll run it?
I think she might run
I
it.
think she'll run it.
Yeah.
Jen doing the same, flexing between 2 trees instead of taking the sky hyzer route that we're used to Jen seeing. But she gets down there inside the circle. Wow, that was a nice shot. You can see these lead card ladies are getting up there at least near circle 1 or circle 2, while this hole averaged at a full 1.1 strokes over par for the rest of the field. So what you guys are watching is incredible in ladies disc golf, and you should get really excited to see these kind of big, accurate drives. Rebecca, after having to contend with the tree, will be kind of getting up there a little bit less efficiently than the rest of the ladies. But that can happen so easily out on this hole.
Henna getting really aggressive on that approach putt.
Jen decides just to pitch up instead of running at the long birdie putt. I don't blame her for that. You can see the flags flapping. Seems like it was a little windy out on the screen.
For par.
Her putt is very nose down. It seems like it would be hard to make it work on these elevated baskets. That one, she gets a little more hyzer on it.
Looks like we might have missed if Paige ran it or not, but she'll walk away with a par.
No birdies on the day from the FPO field. Not super surprising here, but we did see a couple in contention, which is pretty awesome.
Hole 7 is a par 4, 645 feet. We just took a long walk to the other side of the park, so we're still headed down in the same direction. This is pretty wide open. There is a OB on the right all the way down, also OB on the left all the way down, and those trees to contend with. There is a new Mando this year right at the end here, this last tree that we're flying by right now that you have to go right of before you approach to the green. So I think we're going to see a lot of big power straight to hyzer shots, trying to just stay right out in the middle, and then another hyzer shot up to the basket and hopefully in for a birdie.
Yeah, last year there was kind of a little sucker line where if you didn't throw it flat enough and it hyzered out into those trees, you could almost throw a big Annie around the left side of the trees and hang it out over the neighborhood. But I guess they decided that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
And now we are forced to play down the fairway.
There is a little bit of a low ceiling right off the tee. It doesn't really come into play, but it's certainly I've certainly seen a few shots hit that branch and get just knocked straight down.
Yeah, once again, we're trying to throw distance drives off the tee, so it's easy to get your disc nose up trying to really pump it out there. Jen hugs a little bit more to the left maybe than she wants, but she's so good at hyzer, she'll be fine getting something to work all the way to the basket.
Henna going nice and wide with something overstable.
That's a big hyzer.
Yeah.
Rebecca going a little more low and linear, putting it out more to the right, setting herself up for a little bit more of an open shot to the tee where she can flex or to the basket where she can really flex something out. Gets over on it a little bit. She'll put it maybe more out to the right than she wants, but she gets a good skip.
Yeah.
She's inside circle too. Guessing Jen was going to be looking to the sky for this shot. Oh, almost hits pole.
Yeah.
Big hyzer around that last Mando tree, and she'll be well inside circle one. This hole averaged at just about a tenth of a stroke over par, so it's playing pretty even to the whole field. Rebecca decides to lay up to just take her par. I think that's a smart play here. There were 3 birdies on the day. Can you guess how many are on the lead card?
1.
There's 1. Big putts from Paige. It seems like she's really dialed in on her putter today.
2.
Nice birdie from Jalen.
Jalen, I like that. 10 cents. Oh, I lost 10 cents.
I know. I was hoping it was going to be her too, but it was actually Evelina. Congrats on your birdie. Henna's so close, just a couple inches low. She'll take her par and move on. There's still a ton of holes she can birdie out here.
Yeah.
Rebecca with a par, and we're moving on to one of the harder holes on the course. We can see Paige having a pretty commanding lead right now, extended it to another couple of strokes from 3 to 5. Henna still hanging on just behind Jennifer Allen. Evelina has caught up with Rebecca. We see another couple ladies in contention as well for that fourth place spot.
Yeah. Hole 8 is a par 3, 360 feet. It's quite a bit downhill. It's an elevated tee box. There are a few options. You can obviously just go straight at the basket. You're going to really have to commit to something super straight to get all the way there. It does play a little shorter than 360, but it's still a really good pump. There's also a bailout zone off to the right if you just want to throw a shorty little hyzer and land flat and then have an approach to the basket. Or there's a big hyzer line, spike hyzer line that I've seen a few players throw.
I think I've only seen Katrina do that.
Yeah.
Paige gets down there, parks it.
Yep. That's her Tour Series buzz.
The pitch out zone to the right there where those trees are is almost as sketchy as throwing the actual drive, I feel like. It's so scary.
Yeah.
Jen slides something up under the basket.
Yeah. Rock 3.
Henna does not turn it as much as she normally would want it to. It looks like this will not even cross. Oh. Oh, my goodness.
What?
I spoke too soon. I thought it was floated out into the middle of the lake.
Crazy.
That is crazy. Fluffs the shot, still makes it across. Rebecca keeps it nice and low like you want. No. Hits the other side, though, so she will be taking it across the pond. Henna will take an easy par after a not-so-great drive. Rebecca trying to get her circle 3. Boom. Another birdie for Paige. Wondering if Henna is feeling the fatigue from playing back-to-back events with a bunch of bomber courses. I mean, to come from the off-season and just step out here and nice birdie from Jen.
What I'm most excited about this season is just to play. I was playing 40, 30 tournaments a year for 12 years, and then that came to a complete halt. The most important thing I've learned is just have a little bit more patience. With patience comes more success.
Hole 9's a par 3. It's 324 feet, completely flat ground. Water all the way down the left-hand side. An out-of-bounds sidewalk that pinches in towards the basket as you get down the fairway. This is one that anyone can take, but you really have to control the way your disc lands down by the green because this is a fast, flashy, grassy area.
Yeah.
And that water pinches in so close to the basket. It's only about 15 or 20 feet from the left-hand side. It's a low ceiling shot, so you can't really work head to the skies for anything looking for the spike hyzer. You're going to see a lot of flexes, a lot of mid-ranges off the tee. Paige kind of saws off her hyzer, but she'll be outside circle 1.
Super easy to do. Throw it just a little bit too low. You do, a little bit low is fine. It's going to probably get that forward skip because it's such a skippy grass fairway.
And it looks like she's pulling out her rock 3 again. Yep. Thankfully, it did not go in the water on the last hole. Free to fly another day. Really trusting that it's not going to hyzer too much on this green. Catches some cabbage and helps it to land nice and soft under the basket.
Great shot.
Rebecca hugging the tree line on the right-hand side, which is stressful, but it's going to work.
Yeah, that was a great shot with her escape.
She looked like she was so nervous. Oh my God, I'm going to hit a tree. Jen still gets way up there even after throwing it right on the ground off the tee pad. Floats her putter up there and she'll have an easy par. Paige running for birdie. I'm surprised to see that this hole averaged a little bit over par. I would have thought there would have been a ton of birdies out here.
It felt like on this side of the course, there was just a little bit more wind. I don't know where it was coming from, but it was strange because on the next hole, I felt it a lot on the green, and then when we crossed over to the other side, I didn't feel any wind at all. So,
with a light tailwind, it's always kind of hard to tell when it's at your back. But really, where does wind come from? Henna with the only birdie on the lead card. We're shocked.
wow.
But it's nice to see her wrapping up the final 9 with a birdie. I know she's been struggling just a tiny bit, not quite capitalizing where she can score. We'll watch the other ladies tap in, and we want to say thank you again for tuning in and watching the FPO coverage. We appreciate anybody that is interested and wants to be a fan. You guys like, share, comment. Thanks to GK Pro for following along with us, and thanks to Discraft for presenting the Memorial Championship, so we have a stage to play on. Paige stretches her lead to 5 strokes. Jennifer's still holding on to second place, no problem, with Henna just behind her. I'm Madison Walker.
And I'm Missy Gannon.
And don't forget, we have a back 9. It's going to be very excited here, round 3 at the Discraft Memorial Championships.